How you guys feeling this afternoon? I know we're in the home stretch, right? Okay, well, I want to introduce myself. I am James Mwangi. I am a brand strategist. I am a web designer. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a wife. I'm a mommy. And what I'm going to do is share my story with you today. So I am someone who started in print and went to web, okay? Is there anyone else here that kind of had a similar journey that may have started in print? Okay, my crew is here. Yes, awesome. So I'm gonna share some lessons that I have learned. And in order for me to do that, I have to go back to the beginning. So, you know, I graduated from college and I got my design degree and I was ready to save the world with design, right? Because that's what you get out of school and you're like, yes, I'm gonna make an impact. I'm gonna make some great things. I'm gonna shake this world up, right? So that's what I set out to do, and I did. I did some amazing stuff right out of college, and guess what? All of you have, in some kind of way, touched my design, okay? And so I'm so proud to show you some of the first things that I worked on. These amazing checkbooks. Yes! Isn't this great? Good stuff. And even better, you ever opened the mail and you looked like a handwritten note from your aunt or something like that, and you opened it, and it was like, open up this checking account with us. That was me. So I've touched you, okay? So that was where I started, in print, okay? And then after these type of jobs, I went on to do package design for like housewares items sold in Walmart and Target and Home Depot, every major retail chain you can think of. Now, while I was doing this, I was also doing freelance on the side because I wanted to highlight the hidden gems in my community. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Yep. So, and there are a lot of just awesome creatives in my community, and I felt like I could highlight them with design. At the time, I was only doing print, you know? And, you know, a lot of them wanted web design, but I couldn't help them. So I would do print, I would do logos and business cards and these awesome brand identity systems, and then they'd mess up everything by going to get a website done that I didn't have any control over, and I couldn't help them. And I was like, you know, so I was like, I need to do something about this. I need to learn web because I wanted to protect what I was creating for my clients. And at the same time, I was looking at, you know, what I was learning on the job in working and doing package design for all these major retail chains, and every last one of them have brand identity guides like 200 pages thick. I was like, you know, it means something to protect the brand, right? And I was like, I have this knowledge, and I want to be able to offer that to the people in my community, right? So I turned in my 30-day notice, and I founded Cheers Creative. And I started offering, you know, brand and web design because my idea was I could amplify the presence of these companies and these people that are doing amazing things by protecting the brand presence from beginning to end. So that's how I got into web design. And it wasn't easy. I did everything I could do to be the best. Because, you know, you can do web, but you want to do it well, you know? And so I took classes, I learned, I went to every conference I could go to, and I took all the projects I could take because I was determined to make sure that I could make sure people showed up authentically online, okay? And what happened was my career took off and went places that I never imagined. So I ended up becoming an endorsed partner of Theme Co, which created the X theme, which was one of the fastest selling WordPress themes ever. And I started making demos and templates that come standard with that theme, enabling over 170,000 theme code customers worldwide to create websites. And so all of a sudden, this girl who started this agency in Memphis and wanted to help hit the hidden gems in her community was still doing that, but I started touching the world. And at one point, I had to have a clock on my desk to keep up with the different time zones. It was nuts. I mean, it just went farther than I ever dreamed. And then from there, I started not only designing, but talking about design. People wanted to know, okay, well, what's your process behind the work? And so I was excited to share. And I use the internet as my friend, you know? So I'm sharing my work, I'm sharing the process behind my work, and did all types of podcasts. And so this college grad who started doing checkbooks and, you know, those fake handwritten letters that ended up open up this checking account, you know, doing those type of things, to being featured in Forbes, talking about logo design, or in firstwebdesigner.com, talking about WordPress and talking about my web design process, or being on Essence magazine, or on Essence's talk show, talking about being a Black woman in tech. And so my skill set, you know, it got, you know, good, right? And you want your skills to be great. But what I also had to work on was my confidence. And what I found was, as my confidence went up, then my career just went in unimaginable places, and it almost makes me want to cry. Like, my life has really become unrecognizable for, you know, in a great way. And so, if I can help anyone, you know, have the confidence that you need to have as a creative, as a digital thinker, then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to share my lessons on confidence and how you can build it as a digital thinker and as a creative, okay? So let's start with the first one. So what I learned, and I had to learn quickly, that fear is not your enemy, it's a tool, right? And I was so scared when I was like, hey, I'm Cheers Creative, or we're Cheers Creative, and we do websites and we do this, but in the inside I was like, does the world really need another web designer? Another one? You know, you know, what's special about you? I mean, there's like 50,000 agencies in your town alone. So why you now? And, you know, so that's what fear sounded like to me. Is there room for you? Is it time yet? You have these little babies. You have a family. Is it time to make that leap? So, you know, fear is welling up, and fear sounds like that. Fear doesn't sound like this, right? Nor does it look like this, but this is what we've been taught, right? It's ugly, it's gruesome, it's in your face, and it's like, you know, you're gonna fail today. Like, we've been taught that that's what fear, that's what fear looks like, you know? But if it did look like that, wouldn't it be so easy to recognize it and say, fear, get the hell on, what are you know? But we can't, right? So, you know, so what I want you to do is divorce that, right? Because we've been born into teachings that teach us that fear is like that. And when you learn it like that, you think, I can't combat it, right? So fear shows up like this. Are you sure you want to launch that app right now? Are you sure? You know, like, maybe don't show your process right now because it's too messy. You got a few more things to perfect, because, you know, perfection is real, so. Or too many people have the same idea. You gonna do another app too on how and help people, a scheduling app, seriously? Another one, you know? Or, you know, maybe wait until you have 1,000 followers. Wait till you have an audience, and then launch what you're gonna do, and then strike out on your own, right? And so, Freddie, why would fear look like that to sound like that? You know, it's like that doesn't even go together. Like that would be like a passive-aggressive type of Freddy, you know, like a monster that's like gruesome but saying these the smallest things, right? But so when you realize that, not just hear it, but internalize that every day, remind yourself that fear is just that nagging friend that wants me to be okay. That's all it is. Then you can realize it's just an indicator that you may be going in the right direction. That's all it is, you know? And there are always risks, but, you know, fear is not something you fight. Fear is something that you acknowledge, right? And then you use what fear is telling you to say, okay, well, hey, fear, we're going to go do this. So I hear you, yeah, okay, but we're going to go forward, okay? And now that you're not spending all of your energy fighting fear, now you have all this energy, and what can you do with it? You can really focus your energy. So I have to be I search for energy and time the way you search for coins in a couch. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to really, really search for the energy. That means adjusting what you eat. Like that's very important because, you know, we creatives, we'll wing it on Hot Pockets and Pop-Tarts. And like, I'm gonna create some dope stuff today, and we are full of stuff that doesn't really serve us, right? And there's not enough talk about that, you know? So what are you doing to give yourself energy? And when you have those fearful thoughts, you're spending your energy in the wrong place. So now that you're not fighting fear, right? Now you're not all like, this is Sparta on fear. Now you have all this energy to create and explore. And when you create and explore, you have to leave room for failing publicly. It's what it is, and it's part of the process. You can't divorce creating and exploring from messing up, because that's the only way you get to perfection. And when I say perfection, I mean perfection for your intended audience, okay? So that's what I think about energy and where you need to put it. So this is the third one. I know you guys have heard about everybody knows what imposter syndrome is. And so if not, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna give my definition of it and how it showed up in my life. So imposter syndrome was interesting. It seems to affect the most skilled people. You know, it doesn't affect mediocre people but people with the mediocre skills that much. It affects the people that, really should be out there killing it, which is interesting. And so if it's affecting you, just off top, you are, you're doing well. But everybody is dealing with imposter syndrome, including the people that you are serving, okay? So again, here I am, oh God, I'm another person talking about web design. I'm another person, doing this, and then the way I learned web design is maybe different from other people who have been a bit more established. Oh no, one day they're gonna find out that I didn't do this way, or I didn't do that way, or, imposter syndrome has you in this cycle of feeling one day they're gonna find out I'm not enough, or that I don't have this, or that I don't have that. And what's funny is as much as you think about that, those type of things, your client wakes up every day, thinking, how am I gonna run this ship? They have the same thoughts. And then they have employees, and then they have all these other things to take care of, right? But we don't ever think about that. Your client is not the client from hell. Your client is scared. Your client is scared, just like you're scared. They just had enough sense to go get help. So they hired you, right? And so when you understand that, then now you can build up your confidence talking to clients and taking on a strategy role, right? So what does that conversation look like? So the thing is, what you don't want is your imposter syndrome and your client's imposter syndrome to talk to each other. because that's when you create some crap that just don't work. Even if it's pretty, it's just like, no, there's nothing happening. There's no engagement. There's no results. There's no conversions, you know, because y'all are talking to your fears. So what does the client's imposter syndrome look like when they request something from you? It may look like this. The top sites in my industry use this color scheme, you know, so I kind of want to do that. I want to go there. And so what does your imposter syndrome say? Okay. Let's do it. Because you think, I mean, your client has paid you, right? But they've paid you to create something, but it's also your responsibility to lead them, right? So what do you think happens? I mean, you're just going along with it, and now you're feeling all resentful and like, we're gonna do this, but I really don't want to do this, you know? And the client has really essentially asked you to hide them, you know? Hide me in plain sight, because imposter syndrome makes you want to hide. So make me look like everybody else, you know? So instead of your imposter syndrome speaking to the client, what if the confident you spoke to the client? What would that look like? You know, let's explore something else that's going to really set you apart and help you dominate over time. So what this means is, what I'm going to do for you, it may not make sense, but that's okay, because we have the tools to help it make sense over time, okay? So let's explore that. And so what you're doing now is you're easing that client's fears. And the more you do this, the more you talk to your clients like this, the more confident you get. You see? So that's it. When you understand that your client is dealing with that and you're dealing with it too, you can go forward leading and consulting and designing and creating with compassion, with more emphasis on compassion, because you understand where they are. So my next lesson is always go back to your why. And the problem is, we don't really visit our whys enough. You know, why is like that family member that you just forgot about. And so now you're just out here slanging websites and doing stuff, and you know, you're just working and you're getting into that rhythm of working, and sometimes you can forget what the heck you're doing it for. Like, why the heck have you decided to show up in the world as a creative, as a designer, as a developer? You know, there's got to be a reason, right? So what we're going to do right now is I want you to go back to your why. And we need to put this in the forefront of our minds. And so I'm going to share my why, you know. I've always been an artist, right? But, you know, when I got into graphic design, honestly, because I saw another college major who was in graphic design. And I was like, I think I want to do that too. And I got into it, and I liked it. But what happened was when I started doing freelance, my first client needed a business card design, and she had a cleaning business. But from the looks of the business card, you could not tell that she had a cleaning business. I'm like, this card is not clean, and she's cleaning. This is a problem. So I did the business card, but, you know, I really did a whole brand identity system for her that was on this business card. But it was clean and crisp and white and blue and all the things I knew I needed to do for people to get the right idea about her business. Then I presented it to her, and she looked at that card. I'll never forget it. She looked at that card, and she said, "This is me? This is me?" I said, "Yes." And so then I see the shoulders kind of go up a little bit. And I'm like, we've always been taught that design can change things and all that jazz. But when you see it, when you see what you've done actually change the way a business owner thinks about themselves, which in turn changes the way they market themselves. So now you've changed the way they go to networking events. Instead of saying, hey, here's my business card, don't look at it. Now they're saying, this is me. And they're all confident. I was like, I like that. I like creating that moment for people. And I love sharing and I love talking. I love teaching. And I was like, you know what? I love seeing the light bulbs turn on. And so what I do is I try to keep that in the forefront of my mind. If that means I have to save screenshots of testimonials, if I have to save text messages, if I, go back and just immerse myself in the why and keep that in the forefront, that also builds confidence. If you ever forget that you actually have made an impact, you can put those things in your face, And also, your why is your unique branding content. If it's tons of us in here that are doing design and development, what separates you from the next guy? Your why. So, I'm going to go with the person that says that tells me the story versus someone that just has a portfolio. Everybody has that, right? So, yeah, your why is your unique content. Also, this lesson is very important. Bring everything. Nothing goes wasted. Nothing goes wasted. I'm still that girl that was designing checkbooks. I'm still that person that was tricking people with the handwritten letters saying, open up your bank account. I'm still that person that was designing package design and all that great jazz, right? But I take what I know about branding into web. I take what I know about print and package design. Don't waste a side. Don't do that, So what does that mean? Don't create a page without having some type of call to action. Like, I'm bringing everything that I am to what I do. And so that's what when you do that, that's what makes you different, okay? Bring everything because you're going to need it. And you need to use it. Even the things that you thought, the things that happened that you thought added nothing to you or were hurtful or whatever, you're going to need that one day. So bring it all. Work it out. So what I mean by that is that confidence is a muscle that you get to work every day. So if you don't have confidence, one thing you need to stop doing right now is stop beating yourself up about, okay, I don't have enough confidence. Because now you're getting back into the fear thing and the imposter syndrome thing, and that's not good. You want to get out of that cycle. If you want the confidence, take every opportunity to build the confidence up. And so what I had to do was take it moment by moment, reply to that email immediately. Price your work like you got some sense. Y'all know what I'm saying. Price on value. Tell the client, you know what? We're going to go this direction, and we're not going to design necessarily for your personal preference because you don't like orange. We're going to design to create actual results for your clients. For your audience. That's what we're designing for. Every day. One time, me and my partner walked out of a meeting after a company told us what they were and what they wanted, and I didn't even have to look at them. I was like, we knew what they want made no sense. And it wasn't going to help them. And we had to walk back. We said, you know what, we're going to do it. And we walked back into that building. And we told them, listen, the worst thing we can do is give you what you want. And they was like, are we fired? I was like, no, you're not fired. But we need to revisit this, And it's like, okay, well, let's do it. So there was nothing to be scared of. But we feel like that was one of the biggest wins for us, standing up. So confidence is a muscle you work, just like creativity is a muscle you work every day, okay? So your network is your lifeline. So, I always say all the time that, my peers, my mentors, my teachers, they give me wings. My partner encourages me to be myself and be funny. Y'all, I do voice impersonations, and I did voice impersonations at the end of a branding workshop we did not too long ago. Like, be your, like my partner encouraged me to be myself. My mentor said, hey, you can do this. It's like literally saturate yourself in a network that's going to add to you, and that's going to give you great ideas. And maybe you guys have the same values, but you have different methods. You don't want yes men around you, right? You just want people that are going to help add to what you already have going on, okay? And the last one, practice your no. This is probably one of the biggest confidence boosters that you can do. I had to practice no, because when you're scared and you're fearful and you're dealing with imposter syndrome, you say yes to everything. Yeah, we can design that for you in 3 days, yeah. Yeah, we can do it, yeah. And I'm like, shit, what did I do? But that's, so I had to learn how to practice that. No actually creates room for the yes. I wouldn't have been able to write think pieces and go on Essence and doing all that stuff if I had been bogged down with all the stuff I should have said no to. I wouldn't have been able to do it. And once, all you need to see is that no work out for you one time, and you'll be hooked to saying no. You'll be hooked, So you have to make room for the big yes. And so like you guys have learned so much. It's been jam-packed talks these past 2 days, and you've learned a lot of stuff. You've learned a lot of things, and I'm hoping that these tips that I've given and that my story will help you. Some of y'all probably need to send an email right now. Some of you may be working on stuff while you're here right now. I know how it goes, And, you're going to go back to your hometown, back to your corner where you work, Take one of these and just start working that confidence muscle while you develop your skill. Okay, you guys? I thank you guys for listening. Okay? But I have a gift for you. So I want you to go to danajamesmwangi.com/awwards. I have some downloadables for you. I took all those lessons and I made them really nice so you can download them and make them screensavers or upload them to your Instagram story, whatever you want. Okay? So thank you guys.